Hey everybody, it is me, Lance Meister, Undead Viking. This is going to be probably a quicker video than you've seen before, with whether you're watching this on my YouTube channel or you're watching this on the Gray Fox Games channel. The whole idea behind this, and theoretically videos later, will be to talk about certain mechanisms that I've enjoyed and why I've enjoyed them. And these are the mechanisms that I like, the ones that if I see them in a game, unless the game really does something bad to screw it up, I'm probably going to enjoy myself. And today it is auction or bidding. And I remember probably my earliest memory of anything that had auction or bidding, any kind of game of that type, was watching my parents and their friends sitting around the kitchen table, playing game after game after game of Pinochle. Now, if you're not familiar with Pinochle, I'm really not going to dive too deep into it. It is a card game. It's been around for almost like 200 years, I think. It is a game where it is a game of trumps and a game of taking cards and scoring points to those cards. But the process before you do that is, after everybody got their cards, they would look at them and then they would bid as far as how many points that they think that they could get. And I mean, I had played games where like you put like a card down, like playing spades and things like that. I understood that process of it. Like the highest card gets all the cards, and you count the cards at the end of the game, and then you see how many points you get. But that process of watching all these old people, I mean, I was probably like 6 or 7, watching all these old people just saying, 7, 9, 15, 16, 17. Okay, go ahead. And I was like, what are they? I just heard these numbers being thrown out into the universe, and I didn't really get what was going on. And then slowly but surely, I kind of grasped it. And I remember like wanting to play, like desperately wanting to play that game. And then I also remember being told desperately by my my parents that I was not allowed to play because this was a grown-up game and grown-ups would be allowed to play. Since then, I have learned how to play Pinochle. I'm not a big fan of it. I guess I just maybe it's because like I in my group of friends, when we do play Pinochle, they're way better than it than I am. So and maybe that's just like one of those get good arguments or whatever, and then I enjoy myself. But I don't play it enough to really enjoy it. But I mean, that was like my first like exposure to the whole idea of bidding, and I was just entranced by the idea of it. And I think one of the reasons why, I mean, and this isn't really breaking any new ground or by any means, is like the process of the bidding. It's a complete free form, and depending upon the game, it is a complete free form aspect of the game that is completely removed from the core mechanisms of the game, and it is completely and totally dependent upon the people that are playing at it. In a game of Pinochle, you're bidding to say, I have to score that many points so I can actually score points. And there's nothing stopping somebody from just being ridiculous and saying 78 points or whatever, right? But they're going to lose, but there's no structure there to prevent that. And most board games you play are very, very, very regimented and very structured. They are set up in a way that like the rules state this and you can't change it. This is probably one of the reasons why and I love board games, and this is weird, but I mean, I enjoy playing role-playing games way more than I enjoy playing board games. And it's probably because the first real adult games I ever got exposed to in my life were role-playing games when I discovered Dungeons and Dragons when I was in third or fourth grade. And I was just completely blown away by the fact that there was rules, but you could just do anything you wanted. And I really liked that aspect of it. And so in a weird way, and I don't think it's like a subconscious reason why I enjoy it, but I can see the connection there between like I can do whatever I want with this aspect of the game. I mean, I can totally tank myself with bidding by bidding too much, and I'm totally tank myself by bidding too little as well. And so you have to find that sweet spot in between the two. And that comes down to player skill and player awareness, I guess would be the best way to describe that. And I like that. I mean, you can get lucky in any game, and you can get the right cards, you can get the whatever. But when I do like, I do feel better when I achieve something really, really good in a game because of my skill. Not just because I happen to just get the right card at the right time kind of situation. Now, I do remember like there's a few games that I've played since then. I'm going to cheat a little bit because I did write them down on a little notepad here. But is it any wonder why there's a few games out there that I really really that end up being in like, well, they haven't left my collection. I've talked a little bit about in during some of these videos. I've talked a little bit about the fact that I am diminishing my collection. I used to have over 3,000 board games. I'm down to about 250, 300. I'm trying to get that to under 100. It's a tough process. Um, More or less, probably because one, I mean that this isn't what it's about, but one, it's just there's a lot of emotional attachment to those last few that I have, those last few hundred that I have. But also, I don't want to. Most of them are worth money because they're older games. They're things that have been around. They're deluxe versions, so like that. I don't want to just give them away. But I got to break that anyway. But there's lots of games out there that have the auction aspect to them that I really really enjoy. And I'm going to cheat a little bit, but Through the Ages is one. Modern Art is one. If you're familiar with the old game Shogun, that is one as well. For you more hardcore players of Splatter games, Indonesia. Indonesia has remained one of my all-time favorite heavy games for years and years and years and years. And it's just a game that I really enjoy, and it's a game that just always makes it something relatively new that is also in my list of really great games. Is Sidereal Confluence. At some point I got to do a video about that game. I mean, not to like be another person praising it or anything like that, but that was a game that like came out of nowhere for me and really impressed me with everything. And also that is a game where it's just open season in that game. And I again that kind of goes back to the regimented, structured aspects of the game. Those walls kind of fall away, and you're allowed to really dig in and have a lot of messy hands, if you will, as you dig into the mud of that game. More of a trashy game, Spartacus was a game that I really enjoyed. A game that I worked on a great deal when I was with Tasty Minstrel Games. Homesteaders is an auction game that is something that I'll keep for the rest of my life. That game is just amazing. And of course, I'll just stop here with to end up the old Avalon Hill Dune game. I know there's reprints and everything like that. I still have my old Avalon Hill one, but that also had some auction aspects as well. I mean, that's just a scattering of games that I really, really liked that have an auction aspect to it. And it is a mechanism that usually lends me to enjoy whatever the game is that I am, regardless of anything. So yeah, and that's just kind of why I just like it. I like how the interaction is. I like how it affects the game. I like how it challenges me, challenges the other players, and there really is some head to head there going on. It isn't a garden aspect. I'm not auctioning with myself. I am auctioning with the other players, and I'm trying to outsmart them, and I'm trying to outdo them, if you will. So there you go. That's why I enjoy it. Perhaps you could tell me some auction slash bidding games that you enjoy. Maybe you don't like auction games. Tell me why you don't like that. If you love them, tell me why. As always, hit the old like button, hit the old subscribe button, do the thing, and we'll talk soon. All right. Bye bye.